Hey quilting friend, it is your quilting friend Emily, and in this video we are going to talk about 6 different brand new quilt and a table topper pattern. This is going to be a mashup of all the brand new patterns that are currently on the website, and in this series, the next few days, we are going to talk about each of the patterns individually because there is so much information, because I want to help you go through your fabric stash so that you not only create your quilting, your legacy, but also you are using up those amazing scrap fabrics that you've been holding on to. And I am your quilting friend to be able to help with pulling together your different fabrics to create beautiful quilts, beautiful table toppers for you to enjoy, but to also gift to your favorite people. So whether you are looking for a weekend win or using up a fabric panel that you've had in your fabric stash that you're not quite sure what to do with it, or you've got some fat quarter bundles that again you have been holding on to for a very special quilt moment, well, I've got the patterns just for you. So in this video, we are going to talk about the different patterns, the different sizes, what fabrics you are going to need. And like I said, there is going to be a series on each of these quilt patterns coming up in the next few days. So be sure to subscribe so that you can follow along, and let's jump in. First up is the Fondue quilt. So this quilt is built around a trimmed fabric panel with a nice pieced border to make it super manageable. This quilt is going to be measuring at 49 inches by 63 inches. The panel is going to be 27.5 inches by 41.5 inches. So when you have that 27.5 panel, you're not quite sure what to do with it, here is your quilt. So with the other fabrics, there are going to be 4 different fabrics that you're going to need a 1/3 of a yard cut, and then you're going to need 2 different fat quarters in addition to 3/4 of a yard for your sashing, and then 1/2 of a yard for your binding. And like I said, if you've got a fabric panel just laying around in your fabric stash, 4 different fabrics, 2 fat quarters, you've got yourself a quilt. And then we've also got Happy Daze. So Happy Daze is a smaller quilt packed with a beautiful punch. So this particular quilt is going to be built around a simple framed quilt block with a playful rotation. It's going to keep this quilt fun and playful. The finished size of this is going to be 36 inches by 41 inches with an optional border, which would then bring it to 46 inches by 51 inches. You are yet again going to need a panel measuring at 22 inches by 24 inches, give or take, and then that length of the bolt, which is approximately 41 inches. Then you're going to need that first frame, that second frame at 1/4 of a yard, 1/4 of a yard for your sashing, and then 3/8 of a yard cut for your background color fabric. And then there is an optional border, 7/8 of a yard cut, or just round it up to a yard, and that could be your border zipping all around. This would be so great for a baby quilt. On to the next quilt, because again, this is a really quick mashup of the different quilt patterns. Next up, we have Xana. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. So this is going to be, maybe it's pronounced Xana. You're gonna have to let me know this pronunciation. But for Xana, this beautiful quilt, this is going to be a modern rotation block made entirely out of half square triangles. This is going to be a fun beginner-friendly quilt, not to mention mastering those half square triangles, and I just love the movement of this particular quilt. This quilt is measuring at 48 inches by 60 inches, great couch size quilt, and you are going to need 10 different fat quarters, 2 1/8 yard cut of the background color, which is that white fabric that you see, and then you are going to need 5/8 of a yard cut for your binding. This would be really great using rainbow color fabrics, using some Bali color fabrics, maybe in that array of different blues, maybe using an autumn color fabrics with that burnt orange, with that browns. Literally, the sky is the limit, and you could also make this very scrappy if you wanted. And then we have Snowdrop. I would love to make this. This is going to be so quick and easy and a really great quilt in a day project. This quilt is going to be fast, modern, and built from big fat quarter strips. The look of this quilt is so polished, but yet a breeze to piece together. This quilt is measuring at 42 inches by 60 inches. You are going to only need 10 different fat quarters. Yes, 10 different fat quarters. You've got yourself a quilt. And going through your fabric stash, that's all you need to do. Pull out 10 beautiful, carefully coordinating fabrics. And if you need some fabric inspiration, check out the show notes, because I've got some $2 fat quarters. Some of them are only only $2.25 a fat quarter to be able to help start your beautiful quilt project. Just check out the show description for all of the fabric on sale details. And again, this quilt is going to be a quick project, and how fun to bring your favorite person to the quilt shop. Say to them, hey, you pick out 5 different fat quarters. I'm going to pick out 5 different fat quarters just to kind of help balance it out, and let's make ourselves a quilt together. That would be so much fun. Up next is Willow. Now, Willow, I've got a really great YouTube video coming out about this because you could use the block of the month from your previous quilt samples in this quilt. So whether you've got block of the month quilt blocks that you're not quite sure what to do with, or you've got a panel, or you've got some orphan blocks that are just laying in your fabric stash, here is your quilt. This quilt is going to be measuring at 60 inches by 78 inches, and there is an optional border fabric if you so choose to. You are going to need 12 different 12.5-inch blocks with your main fabric print, which is going to be 1.5 yards, and then, or if you want to use actual large print fabrics, 1.5 yards, then you're going to need 1.25 yards for your light color fabric, and then 1 7/8 yards for your dark color fabric. And then of course there's a really fun optional border as well. This quilt project would literally be a finally finished quilt project without any overwhelm and just pure fun. So last but certainly not least is Bubblegum. And this is going to be a scrap friendly table topper that just sounds like a heck of a lot of fun. So these are going to be built around 2.5-inch strips, perfect for any leftover fabrics, any jelly rolls that you're not quite sure what to do with, or even just cutting up some of your fabric stash, cutting all the pieces together, and then just seeing how long you could make this table topper. Again, this is going to be using 2.5-inch strips. The finished size of this table topper is 13 inches by 49 inches, and you are going to need 8 different fat 1/8 of a yard cut, which is 12 inches by like 21 inches. And then for that background color fabric, you are going to need 1/3, and then 1/3 of a yard for your border fabric. This will be fast stash busting and a really great project to sew right on the weekend. So there you have it, everybody. 6 brand new hot off the press patterns full of potential. So whether you are pulling out some fabric panels, getting ready to cut them, grabbing some of your fat quarters that you've been carefully curating over these past few months or even years, there is something for you out of these brand new quilt patterns. And I'll be featuring these one at a time in the next quilting series, one right after another. So make sure that you subscribe to this so that you don't miss out on the proper, clear details that you need to know to help create some of these quilt projects. And one of the best things about these videos is that I'm helping inspire from your fabric stash how to then create these quilts. In the next series, we are going to very carefully talk about how to pull out fabrics from your quilt stash, some really great layout examples, and encouragement to help you finish these quilting your legacy projects nice and strong. And when you make one of these quilts, please make sure that you tag me at Quilting Your Legacy. And better yet, join the Quilting Your Legacy monthly challenge group. All of that information is right in the show notes because we would all love to cheer you on. Let me know in the comments which quilt you cannot wait to make first. And until next time, happy stitching, and I will see you in the next Spotlight Quilt series. I am Emily from Quilting Your Legacy, and I cannot wait to sew with you soon.